Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dani and today I'm going to tell you if you should read Gallant. This is the second video that I do like this. The first one last year was about Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard, and I did that video at the time because I really loved the book and I wanted to mostly recommend it. And what I mentioned at the time was that I usually don't do single reviews for books because first of all, they don't get a lot of views. They're hard work to do just a single review for one book. But also because I don't like to talk about, like, if I don't like the book, like, what am I going to talk about? Why am I even, like, making a video to not recommend it? Like, I get rent reviews and I really have fun watching them, but when it's just, like, a lukewarm feeling about the book, it's usually not that fun. However, for Gallant, that's kind of what's happening here, because I feel like my thoughts on this book are going to be interesting to listen. At least I hope it will. A lot of people asked me what I was thinking about the book as I was reading it when I posted on Goodreads, when I added as currently reading on Goodreads. A lot of people asked what I was thinking about it, that they really wanted to hear my thoughts. And because I have the thoughts that I have, I feel like it's really informative to do this video. So I'm going to stop procrastinating for this and just tell you, I gave 3 stars for Gallant. If you don't know this book, this is the newest V. SCHWAB that's coming out in March, and everyone is hyping it before release. I was so excited about it. I loved a lot of V. SCHWAB before. I felt okay about a lot of her other books. I haven't read all of her books, but I read A Dark Shade of Magic, Vicious, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Maybe that's it. There might be some. I'll put on the screen if there are more books that I read by her. But yeah, some of them were 5 stars, like Vicious and Dark Shade of Magic. Some were, I don't know, I don't remember what I gave Addie LaRue. I'm also going to put here on the screen. But I did not love it as much as everyone did. But that kind of is the same that happened with Gallant. It took me a long time to get this arc because I requested it too early, and then it was just like, you already requested it, but then they were working on it. But anyway, when I finally got the arc, and I'm so grateful for the publisher for giving me the arc, I got it on NetGalley, and I couldn't figure out, I don't know if there's some issue with the book with NetGalley or what it was, but I couldn't figure out a way to send it to my Kindle, so I had to read it on my phone, which was already not the greatest experience. I really don't like reading on my phone. It's just not conducive to a great experience, you know? So that could have impacted my thoughts, my feelings on the book. I'm just giving you all the information about everything because that's the point of this video. And again, reading is highly subjective. Because I didn't like a book doesn't mean that you won't like it. If I hate a book, I really hope people will like it because I never want people to have bad reading experiences. That's never in my mind. So really, just because I think something about a book, it does not mean that it's the full truth. It's just my thoughts, reading subjective. So let's start talking about Gallant. I'm gonna get even more comfortable here. So Gallant is about a girl called Olivia. I love that name so much. She's called Olivia Pryor. She lives in an orphanage, and it's really like a bad place. She doesn't really know exactly how she got there, but she knows that her mom left her a diary, and she doesn't know much about her father, but she kind of just assumes they're both like out of the picture, either dad or whatever, but she just does not have, she had never had a relationship with her parents. And she lives in this orphanage and she can see ghosts, what she calls them, ghouls? I don't know exactly how to pronounce this word, so I'm going to say ghosts because it's pretty much the same thing. There's no real big difference in the book for this, but it's not ghosts that is written in the book. But either way, she can see this ghosts of the other girls that have lived there. They don't do much, they're just there in the corner watching her. And that's pretty much what the part of the orphanage is. All of the matrons, the women who take care of them, are really mean women. And at some point, she gets a letter saying that she is being welcome to come back to Gallant, which is this big mansion, this state, in which her uncle lives. Her uncle sent her a letter telling her to come live with him in Gallant because that's her home. That's where her mother used to live and all of that. And then she goes there. I'm not going to say any spoilers, I just want to set the tone of the story. But then she goes there and there's this big mansion, kind of a little bit creepy and all that. But either way, I think that this book is a vibe book. I feel like the way that she wrote it, it's not really about the story, it's not really about the characters even, it's about the atmosphere. It's about the spooky, eerie vibe that the whole book, the orphanage, the trip to Gallant and everything that happens there. It's all about the vibe, it's all about the atmosphere. It reminded me a lot of times of reading The Night Circus, which I hated. I gave 1 star to Night Circus, if I'm remembering correctly, and I just didn't get the, for Night Circus, I just didn't get the point. It was just like, again, just like the vibe, the atmosphere, but there was nothing really happening in the book. For Gallant, at least there was some plot, there was a structure, there was a story, there were some characters, but it still was just about the vibe. It was about her writing. Her writing is beautiful. There's a lot of metaphors, a lot of comparisons, a lot of just beautiful flowery writing, and I usually really enjoyed that, but I still enjoyed it. I just felt like I just wanted it to have more of a purpose instead of just setting the vibe, because it was setting the tone of the book, the whole book, and then we didn't get the story, I feel like. The side characters that we have in this book, I have no structure for this review. The side characters that we have in this book are not well developed, they're not very important. They are there when they need to be, they do what they need to do for the plot to move forward, but they are really not important. They could have been switched between themselves and it wouldn't make a difference. For example, in Gallant, she has her cousin, she has these 2 adults. I don't remember if they're related. I don't think they are. No, they're not. There's just this couple who are taking care of her cousin, and they are taking care of her as well. And they're kind of just interchangeable between the 3 of them, really. And I just was very disappointed about this book. So, my whole idea for this video is to tell you if you should read Gallant. And I don't know, you have to decide, of course. I'm not going to tell you what you should read or you should not read. Sorry about the title of the video. But the point that I want to make is that if you like the flowery vibe, eerie atmosphere, spookiness of the books, I would definitely recommend it, and I really like that aspect of the book. I gave it 3 stars, I said that in the beginning. Okay, I really like that aspect of the book. I just don't think there was a purpose for the story and for the characters. And that really disappointed me. There was a lot of plot holes, a lot of things that did not make sense. She created so many rules about how the, let's call it magical part of the book, the magical side of the story, she created a lot of rules about how that worked, that I feel like it was in detriment for what the characters were doing, because it kind of made it easy to defeat the villain. And just like because of all the rules, it was kind of easy to defeat the villain. But still the characters weren't doing the obvious thing. And I don't know why. I think this is the chattiest, like, most rambling video I've ever made. But a lot of people wanted to hear my thoughts, so I'm telling you my real thoughts about this book. I'll also say that I pre-ordered the signed edition of this book from Indigo before I even got the ARC. And I'm not canceling it, I still want it. But I feel like I don't get the whole idea of the book, maybe because I just feel like it was not all there. I feel like it's almost like it was a horror middle grade, and I would have accepted that more than it being YA. It is definitely young adult, at least it's sold as a young adult, but I feel like it would work better as a middle grade, but then you have to change some things that are not direct, they're not so written towards children, for children, but still I feel like that would have worked better. Or maybe it would have worked better if it was 100% about the vibe, like The Night Circus, and just ignoring all the plot. Because the plot didn't need to be there. It could be anything else happening a lot of the times. I would have not liked that because it's just not the type of book that I enjoy reading. But I feel like she was trying to do two things and it just did not work. So I guess those are my final thoughts about Gallant. What else can I say? Yeah, that's basically it. It's a book about the eerie, spooky atmosphere and not about the plot and not about the characters. So, should you read Gallant? If any of the things that I mentioned sound good for you, you should definitely read Gallant. And most importantly, if you feel like reading Gallant, you should read Gallant. And I think, as it happened for Realmbreaker, when I did the video for Realmbreaker, it was much more structured because I had more notes about it. But when I did my video for Realmbreaker, a lot of people disagreed with me in the comments, saying that I was completely wrong because the book was not good. There are a lot of people DNF'd it and saying that, like, basically that I was wrong because I said that the book was a 5 stars. And I feel like the same is going to happen with Gallant, but in the other way, that everyone's going to be like, you're really wrong, this book is really good. And I really hope it is really good for everyone. I'm not going to be one of the people hyping this book too much moving forward because it's not my reading taste. But if this sounds like something that you would enjoy, I really hope you do. I definitely 100% hope you love this book. And I'm still going to keep my signed pre-order because I like the idea of this book still. And I might reread it in the future. I might even try the audiobook. I feel like the audiobook would be really good. Just because of the vibe of the story. So if you're watching this video before reading Gallant, let me know if you're still interested in reading it, because I'm not trying to make people not interested. I'm just trying to give my opinion, my thoughts, and inform people about what they're about to read. If you've read Gallant, let me know if you agree with me. If you like the book, let me know if you still agree with me that it's just about the vibe and not about the plot and characters. I'd be very curious about that. But either way, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for joining me. Bye!